To order the Norwood City School District Board of Education regular meeting. Today is Thursday, October 17th. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. At the first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present. All right, if you would stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.04 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, we can move on. 1.05, these are the minutes from the regular meeting, September 19th. 1.06, these are the minutes from Finance Committee on October 8th. 1.07, minutes from the committee meeting on October 8th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes listed in 1.05 through 1.07?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that bit of housekeeping taken care of, we can move on to item 2. This is the presentation, which is my personal favorite. We get to acknowledge all of our rising stars, and I know that I can speak for the board and say we are so excited to have our families and students back with us. This is our first board meeting of this school year where we are bringing our rising stars back. So we're very excited to have you all with us. And I will turn it over to Mrs. Chesson and Mrs. Havlin, and they will be reading about your great students.
Thank you, President Cole. When we call your name this evening, the students, we ask you to come forward and receive your certificate, and we're going to say a few wonderful things about you individually. So we're going to get started with Sharpsburg Elementary Rising Star, Evan Alvarez Gaspar. As a fifth grader, Evan embodies what it means to be a PACS leader. Evan has helped give building tours to new students, and he's currently helping the third graders in STEM class to build their windmills. Evan is also a great peer role model in his classes. He's willing to work with a variety of classmates and always does his best.
To offer help and support to both classmates and teachers. Congratulations to Evan. You make Sharpsburg a better place, and we're so thankful to have you as a student.
Norwood View Elementary Rising Star, Ember Hunter. The fourth grade teachers at Norwood View have chosen Ember as their October Rising Star student. Ember is a wonderful student that exemplifies respect, commitment, and integrity. Ember is very respectful to others. She goes above and beyond to help classmates and her teachers. She is very empathetic to her peers and steps in to support them often. Ember is always prepared for class. She has a strong desire to do well and is willing to put in the extra effort needed to be successful. She doesn't hesitate to ask questions when she doesn't understand the content being taught. When faced with challenges, she has shown herself to be brave and resilient. Ember is very kind and respectful to her teachers, other students, and the staff at Norwood View. We are very proud of Ember. We know she will continue to work hard and be successful for many years to come. Congratulations.
Williams Avenue Elementary Rising Star, Kinley Ayers. Kinley is a remarkable student who embodies the spirit of hard work and kindness. Kinley's productivity and dedication to school sets a shining example for everyone in third grade. She approaches every task with enthusiasm. Not only is Kinley an awesome student, but she radiates positivity. Her infectious smile and cheerful demeanor light up the classroom, making it a welcoming environment for everyone. Kinley is always willing to lend a helping hand, whether it is assisting classmates with their assignments or supporting her teachers in various jobs. Congratulations, Kinley. Keep shining bright.
Great. The Norwood Montessori School Rising Star is Jasper Walls. Jasper has a joyful spirit and a can-do-it attitude. He is kind to his peers, respectful towards adults, and brings a positive outlook to school every day. Jasper loves to learn, and when faced with a challenge, he says to himself, "This is hard, but I can do it." The children can count on Jasper to lend a helping hand or a friendly smile throughout the day. We love having Jasper in our school family. He is a PAX leader through and through. Congratulations.
Norwood Middle School Rising Star, Jayana Hubbard. Jayana's ability to change and adapt is high, and her high work ethic in the classroom make her a wonderful student. Jayana has made great transition to the 6th grade building with navigating the hallways and being punctual to all her classes. She has demonstrated high expectations for completing her work and learning new skills to help her in the future. Jayana is a positive role model for her peers and doesn't hesitate to help others. Jayana has aspirations to be a school teacher when she grows up. Congratulations on being a rising star, and keep up the great work.
Norwood High School Rising Star student Lainey Murphy. Yes. So Lainey Murphy is actually at a soccer team, soccer practice today, but we're going to read about the good things, and then we're going to switch back over to Jayana and reread her awesome recommendation. So we're going to finish up Lainey real quick and then switch over to Jayana. So Norwood High School is excited to recognize Lainey Murphy as our October Rising Star. A senior and a 3-year captain of the soccer team, Lainey exemplifies dedication and a quiet leadership. She leads by example, inspiring her teammates with hard work and a positive attitude. Outside of sports, she is equally committed to her academics, reading a book every week, and consistently striving for excellence. Her focus on personal growth and opening doors for her future sets her apart as a model student. Lainey's drive, discipline, and fun personality make her a true role model for her peers, and we are proud to celebrate her as a rising star. Congratulations.
So Jayana, we're going to go back to you, and we're going to celebrate you for a moment. Jayana, as a reminder, is Norwood Middle School's rising star. She has an ability to change and adapt and a high work ethic in the classroom. Jayana has made a great transition to 6th grade in the building with navigating the hallways and being punctual to her classes. She has also demonstrated high expectations for completing her work and learning new skills to help her in the future. Jayana is a positive role model for her peers and doesn't hesitate to help others in need. Jayana has aspirations to be a school teacher when she grows up. Congratulations on being a rising star, and keep up the great work. All right. The district athletic rising star is Graham Metz. Graham's star has risen since he came back to Norwood. Since returning to Norwood High School as a junior, Graham has made a name and mark on the soccer by becoming one of the most prolific goal scorers in the Miami Valley Conference. In the past 2 seasons, he has scored at least 27 goals each season, which would be the school record for goals scored in a single season. With 27 goals scored in 2 seasons, that gave him a career total of 54 goals, which puts him in the elite company of Norwood's all-time leaders. Graham serves as a role model for his teammates and his peers at Norwood High School. Congratulations, Graham.
District Creative Arts Rising Star, Braylee Watley. Don't think Braylee is here, but we're going to still read all the great things about her. Braylee is a 4th grader in Miss Burton's art class at Sharpsburg Elementary School. She is being recognized for her impressive creativity and enthusiasm for thinking outside the box when presented with an art challenge. This Hearts and Hands project was inspired by the work of artist Laurel Lotto, who started the Donna Bella's Angels nonprofit organization. It provides inspirational art for mental health wellness. Its motto is, "Medicine heals the body, art heals the soul." In this project, students were exploring how to blend the primary colors together with oil pastels to create all of the colors in the color wheel, including skin tones. When asked what her favorite part of this project was, Braylee said that mixing the red-violet color for her smallest heart was her favorite part. Although Braylee is busy with soccer and cheer, she loves art so much, she finds time to create drawings with her friend outside the class, and they have plans to start selling their work next month. Congratulations.
Our district's staff rising star is Amanda Warren. Norwood Middle School would like to recognize Amanda Warren for her tireless efforts in serving our school each day in the cafeteria. Each and every day, our students can count on her smiling face, delicious meals, and friendly personality. Amanda goes beyond the call of duty as many students visit just to check in and let her know how their day is going or to seek out advice from her. Thank you for everything you do for Norwood Middle School. We're so grateful for all you do for us and always making our day just a pinch better. Congratulations. At this time, the board members are going to come around and congratulate all of you, and then we're going to take a big group picture.
Next to Graham and also this. Is that all right?
Okay, we're ready? 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Very
That's so nice. That's really nice. So at this time, we'd like all of our rising stars to go in the lobby with their families, and Miss Havlin, who's in the pretty red sweater, is going to take some pictures of all of you. Thank you for being here this evening.
This one's cuter than the next.
Item 3 on the agenda is our personnel section, superintendent recommendations. So I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Under 3.01 resignation, we are saying goodbye to 2 of our employees and wishing them well. Now, under 3.02 employment, we want to welcome Paris Nichols, Samantha Goodwin, and Julia Wegman. They are 3 new hirees as student assistants and educational aides. Under item number 2, supplementals, these are for teachers who sponsor activities. Item number 3, these are the Avenues for Success Club sponsors that you're approving. Number 4, substitutes in case one of our maintenance individuals is out sick, so that's always good to have. Number 5, we're adding a new job description that needs board approval. Number 6, the change in status. These are for current employees who are somehow changing their job description. And I'm going to stop right there for a vote since we have a voting box.
All right, do I have a motion to approve 3.01 and 3.02, sub-items 1 through 6?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
All right, there is one more item. That is number 7. This is the resolution to hire non-certificated coaches and advisors. So we are giving pupil activity contracts for winter and spring sports to the individuals listed. And thank you. That concludes my report, and we do have another voting box.
Do I have a motion to approve 3.02, sub-item 7?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? I will be abstaining from this vote. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Abstain. All right, with that approved, we can move on to item 4. This is our Education Committee report, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
We've got our field trips. This is my favorite. I love telling them. Williams Avenue Elementary is going to the Children's Theater, Green Acres, and the Aronoff Center, and another Green Acres for them. Sharpsburg also going to Green Acres. Norwood High School going to Mount St. Joe. The Montessori School going to the fire station. I was just talking about that with somebody and how it is when the kids go there. It's so cute. And also Norwood High School going to Northern Kentucky University. I'll make a motion to approve these field trips.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, with that approved, we can continue on. Item 5, this is Policy Committee, and I will turn it over to Vice President Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We are going to have our first reading of a couple of policies. All right. DAB, General Revenue Fund Balance. OSBA is now recommending a cash balance policy for the general fund. We are now updating it to include a cash balance ceiling not to exceed 200 days cash. This reaffirms our commitment to the education of our students. DJ, Purchasing, allows for future changes to be made to the regulation by the Treasurer and Finance Committee. DJF, Purchasing procedures, further defining purchasing procedures related to then and now. DJF-R, purchasing procedures, changes to qualifications to consortium purchasing, clarify allowances and approval for federal purchases and technology. Further strengthens blanket and super blanket purchases controls. DID, inventory, increase the capitalized equipment threshold to $10,000 and further define regulation to those procedures or purchases. Sorry. DJH, credit card, is revised to further tighten credit card controls. DJC, bidding requirements, changes to the bid requirements which include further definition on construction and to remove bidding requirements for security and protection of school property. DM, deposit of public funds, has been updated to reflect revisions to cash acceptance and ticket prices. EBCE, protection for reporting safety and fraud violations, has been updated to reflect new requirements regarding training and when individuals must report fraud to AOS. All employees, board members, and supplemental staff must watch the video and forward their certificate to the treasurer's office. EBCE-R, protection for reporting safety and fraud violations, updated to reflect new requirements regarding training and when individuals must report fraud to AOS. EBCE-E, AOS model form that must be provided to employees and board members, notifying them of AOS fraud reporting system and training requirements that apply to them. A couple have been removed. We've removed EBCE-E, which has been replaced with the above new ECBCE-E. GCD, professional staff hiring, has been updated to reflect changes to public notice for rehire to produce wait time for rehiring process. GDC/GD, updated to reflect changes to public notice for rehire to reduce wait time for rehiring process. JEDC, religious expression days, RC 3320.04 requires schools adopt a policy that reasonably accommodates sincerely held religious beliefs and practices of students. JEDA, truancy, updated with clarification that religious expression days will not count towards determining hours of absence under RC 3321.191. JED, student absences, updated to reflect creation of religious expression days. ACC, political commitments, RC 3319.614 requires districts to adopt a policy to prohibit statements of commitments to political movements or ideologies. BDDG, minutes, updated to reflect new provision that minutes must be read and adopted to the next regular meeting of the board. And then BDDH, also KD, updated to include the word Norwood resident. And then KD, also BDDH, has been updated to also include Norwood resident. I would like to make a motion that we approve the policies previously read.
All motion?
Or did
Or
we
I'll
make-
second.
And you mean the first reading, right?
The first reading.
Any discussion? Do we have a first and a second?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, so that was the first reading. We get to do that again next month.
I'm making sure to read the religious days one because I bet people will have questions. I'm like,
It allows up to
all the
3
details.
days.
Yeah.
So a parent can excuse for a religious holiday, and it wouldn't account against the student. if
And they can
chose
do
to that.
after-school activities,
This
even
is-
if they are absent the day. That's the sentence I just read.
Right, they could come back and participate in their sports activities if they needed to.
All right, item 6 on the agenda, this is Building and Grounds Committee, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. I only have one item on the list today. That is a request from the Norwood Recreation to use the elementary and middle school gyms for their youth basketball programs at various times and dates. From November 18th through March 1st, they'll be working with our AD to determine that schedule so nothing conflicts. I'd like to make a motion that we accept that proposal.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
and Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Madam President, I have one other item that's technically a building usage. I just want to remind residents that we have voting happening. Early voting is happening already, so keep that in mind as you bring your students to school. Those hours will be changing and getting earlier and going later, so they may want to avoid that little section between the highway when they're doing pickup and drop-off. And I believe we have a couple buildings that are also being utilized as polling places on the day of.
election.
So we just want to make sure that parents are aware of that, and just kind of make note for
Sure.
upcoming election season.
And we don't have school that day.
Correct.
Right.
So,
And I do drive by that every morning. I'm like, oh, why did I do this? All these people are coming in.
I believe next week starts their 7:30 open time.
Okay.
So it's just something to keep in mind as those commute times will be changing. If people are coming from that side of town towards the middle school and high
Sure.
school, that they're aware of it.
Thanks for that reminder.
Thank you.
All right, item 7 on the agenda, this is the Finance Committee, and I will turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camp House.
Thank you, Madam President. 7.01, Finance Reports. The CFO report, monthly financials, and change order listings are attached for your approval. 7.02, Permanent Appropriation Resolution and 412 Certificate. Our budget for the current year, which will be considered permanent as of this month. 7.03, Board to establish a scholarship committee for funds held in-house. The district scholarship committee will meet and discuss scholarship funds on hand and uses of those funds to advise the district on spending. Those funds will be spent to advance education at all levels. 7.04, approve exempt and manager salary schedule and 412 certificate amended to include the director of operations salary. 7.05, transportation contract with UTS to provide transportation to students qualifying through IEP. And 7.06, then and now purchase orders, just one PO that needs additional approval. And that's all I have for finance.
Thank you, Mrs. Camp House. Do I have a motion to approve 7.01 through 7.06?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'll be excited to see what they come up with for those dormant funds.
Yep.
Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, we can move on to item 8. This is the hearing of the public, and we do have Bishop Sonny James here with us tonight from Ashland Avenue. He would like to speak to us about community events. So Bishop James, I'll turn the floor over to you in just a moment. I have a little paragraph I have to read. It says, to further improve the communication between community and the board, time shall be allocated at each regular or special board meeting to hear Norwood residents and/or representatives of school-related organizations. Public participation at committee meetings is limited to those invited to speak on specific issues. Each person wishing to speak to the board should fill out a form listing name, address, and the agenda or non-agenda item and hand the form to the board president. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board. No more than 15 minutes will be devoted to any one topic unless a majority of the board votes to continue the discussion. Speakers may offer such objective criticism of school operations as concerns them. However, the board will not hear personal complaints of school personnel or complaints against any person connected with the district. Concerns and comments about individuals should be brought to the attention of the administration. And the board approved this policy, BDDH, also KD, on January 17th, 2019. So Bishop James, I will invite you up, and if you would just please turn on the mic.
Oh, thank you.
There's just a little button there at the bottom.
Well, I hope I can navigate it. The red button.
Yeah, just touch it.
Are we on?
Like swipe it.
Not yet.
Did it turn
Not
green?
yet.
Swipe across it with your finger, like
You want it to
pet
be-
it. Like,
Are we on?
You want
Is
it to
it
be
green?
green.
it'll turn
If the
green.
light's green, it's
See what
on.
ours looks like?
I don't think his
Oh, his does.
Oh.
is different.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on?
Oh,
All right.
Whoops, sorry.
Tyler's confirming it was on, so did we turn it off? Now it's off.
Tyler, thank you.
This is why my phone is out, because they communicate with me, but
Tyler, are we on?
he said that's it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you,
First
Tyler.
and foremost, let me just give a heartfelt thank you to all of our residents that have lifted me in your prayers over the last few years. It has certainly been a horrific journey, and I can honestly say I am so fortunate and blessed to even be standing here still alive amongst you. And I am certainly humbled that God saw fit to keep me around a while. So now I guess you get the nicer version. I am excited about what I am seeing in Norwood. As I travel across the state and have tons of meetings, folks always say, well, Bishop, why do you tell us you want to do everything, but you got to do it in Norwood? And I say, well, two reasons. Because I live in Norwood. And number two, I believe Norwood is turning into a community that the whole world needs to take notice of. We have come through some horrific issues that many of us have had to work together to get on top of and resolve. And we've done that. And so I stand before all of the residents of Norwood, Ohio, and I say, Norwood, Ohio! Secondly, on Sunday, October the 27th, I'm personally inviting every member of our board and all of our residents to come out to celebrate our second annual commemorative March Parade celebration, replicating what Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth did to get Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to go to Alabama. Most people don't know that it was Reverend Shuttlesworth that convinced him to finally go, and then all of our history has been made different. So last year, the mayor came out, he and his wonderful wife, and we did a proclamation. This is our second annual, and I'm telling you all, everyone in Norwood needs to come out and let's show people why I'm always advocating for Norwood. Sunday at 2:45 p.m., technically, we gather on the streets, or actually on the sidewalk, then move into the streets. But then there's so large of a crowd, we unfortunately have to make our way onto the school grounds. This year, I'm excited to report that we will probably have the majority of all of our city or state officials with us, from congressional to state. And I'm really excited to see, we're going to show what the vision of our forefathers would look like today. And that's all of us coming together, standing together, walking together, holding hands together, and loving on one another like never before. So please, at 2:45, between 2:30 and 2:45, we'll meet on Sherman Avenue on Sunday, October the 27th. Football, on my flyer, I put, football may have to wait because our future may be at stake. We're also going to partner with our Amos clergy leadership team, and we're going to lead Souls to the Polls. So at the end of the initial part of the march, which will end on the steps of City Hall here in Norwood, we will parade on a little further on to Edwards, where we will go to the Board of Election. And those of you who have not voted early yet, Please come out and cast your vote. This is a bipartisan event, so everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Last and finally, I don't have like a city council, they put that 5-minute clock on me, so I have to be quiet. So maybe Amber will have to, a minute and a half? Wow, I'm getting good at this. Wow. The city has trained me. Maybe Donna Lake personally has gotten all over me and helped me out. The other thing is, many of you need to be made aware that I'm starting a new initiative. We've been all over the media. It's going to be called the Called into Action. I'm in courts an awful lot, and I've just gotten sick and tired of hearing mamas crying, "Oh my God, my baby," and seeing our young people dealing with crime and gun violence. And so we're starting a national crisis hotline to help, and I'm going after $1 million donors to help us solve this issue. I've landed my first, and Eric Brian King Law Offices, and he hired some of the youth to put postage on his corporate mailer pieces, and he paid them. So they didn't have to do anything stupid. And then we have another employer who hired folks at $25 an hour, those 18 and above. And so we're really working on trying to do things to make our community safe. I know we don't have scanning and all of that in Norwood. As I talked to our superintendent, who's very, very well versed in understanding a lot of at-risk issues, I'm just starting to grow more and more concerned, though, about our schools. I love the fact that we've become more diverse. You will never find anyone more about diversity than me. That's it. Okay, so I'm so grateful. I'll be respectful. Don't kick me out. All right. I'm looking at Alice looking at me with one eyebrow. But I just want to make sure that we look at every avenue to keep our kids and our staff safe. And we'll talk about that next time. But October 27th, 2:30 to 2:45, please meet us on Sherman Avenue right in front of the Norwood Middle School for our second annual Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth March and Parade, and then Souls to the Polls, where we'll all come out and vote. And then you don't have to worry about all that backed up traffic during the week. God bless you all. Thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you,
Unless
Bishop
there are any,
James.
questions or anything.
Thank you so much. We're grateful you're well.
Not all the way, but I'm
All right. Continuing on, item 9, this is the report section, 9.01, board announcements. Do any board members have any announcements to share?
I try to think of them before the meeting, and I know at least one elementary school is having a trunk or treat. I know last year
Williams
they
is having
all
one tomorrow.
did,
Yeah.
but I don't know when the others are having them. But
Yeah, I know Williams is tomorrow. I'm not sure about the
Yeah.
others.
I was like, yay, trunk or treats! Woo!
Yeah, we got notice just an hour or two before the football game that some of the members from the UC band were coming to join. That was super cool. That was
my
really cool.
goodness!
Yeah, I wish we had a heads up on that.
Sat next to the sousaphones and had a close-up look of how these students behaved, and I was in tears the whole time. They were so sweet to our band members and treated them like their little brothers and sisters, and cheered every one of our students. They cheered at every football pass. They cheered at the cheerleaders. They cheered at the band members. They did all their UC cheers, but Norwood.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
so
I don't
cool.
know who made that happen, but that was super cool. So thanks to whoever
Please
made
make
that
it happen again. Whoever did that, do it again. That's a good one.
Yeah. Any other announcements? I feel like I did remember that one, but I feel like I should have written things down too.
I can't believe that. I loved that.
Yeah, it was super. Yeah, I love music education, so that was super cool. All right, continuing on, 9.02, this is our superintendent's report, so I will turn it over to Mrs. Roan.
Thank you, Madam President. I have 2 items this evening. The first is to congratulate Silas Bullard and Isaiah Current. They were named a commended student for their test scores in the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program. So congratulations to these 2 young people. My second item is Norwood View had a walk-a-thon on October 4th, and they raised $7,250, which is very impressive. And they're going to use it to create an outdoor learning space for the students. And then Sawyer Giles, he got first place. He was the earner, the highest earner of the entire school. So there he is with his certificate. So you can see from young to old participated, and it was a great day for Norwood View. So thank you. That concludes my report.
Well, that's impressive, $7,200.
Is that more than last year?
I think it is, yes.
That is crazy. Wow.
All right, 9.03, this is Great Oaks, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. Last week's meeting was a little bit different. We got to tour the Diamond Oaks facility for a change because we had finished some construction projects over at that campus. And we had the pleasure of being served by our culinary arts students there. They had been working on a farm-to-table method with the chef, and they actually raised all of the animals, took care of all of the animals, then took care of all the animals, and then served all of the food. And it was the most full, comprehensive dinner that I've ever seen the chef plan. And the students, they volunteer to be there for service. They don't have to come because they have a staff that'll do that. Every single student that participated in the program attended that night because they all wanted to see their work come to fruition. We also had several community members and partners that they provide the dishware and glassware that we utilize. They provide some of the vegetables that we use, things like that. So those community partners all attended the dinner as well, and we got to hear from each of those individuals. It was a really cool experience, and if you guys ever get to come to one of the dinners, the students put a lot of effort and pride into them. We did get to go over our report card just like we did, and Great Oaks received a 5-star rating and had a 99% graduation rate with over 98.5% of our graduates already being employed before they walked across the stage last year. So they were either fully employed or had employment lined up for post-graduation or military service. So we were very proud of those numbers. If you are interested in having a student attend Great Oaks, there are 3 meetings this month that you could potentially come to for questions. They do these like coffee chats, and the first one is on October 21st at 6:30. It's a webinar. There is a website registration, so I'll say this slowly because it's weird. The registration is at https://bit.ly/3bvrl8c. So you can pause that video and try that. But I would like to share this, online as well, and you can find it at the Great Oaks website if you'd like to do an online version. Or if you would prefer an in-person, we have an October 28th at 7 p.m. at the Anderson Library, or on October 30th at 6:30 at the Madeira Library. So you can come out, ask questions about programs and potential opportunities for your students. We went over a report from our legislative advisors that came up with the numbers from last year's Career, Technical, and Adult Education Department from the state. And they said that in 22 to 23 school year, we had over 5.1 million post-secondary students engaged in CTE. And then in that growth, we're looking at a projected 11.3 million secondary students engaging in CTE. So that potential growth in those fields is astronomical, with over basically a 50% increase in career tech fields and the availability of jobs for our students. So I'm really excited about those potential growth opportunities for our students, and that is my report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ballard. 9.04, this is Norwood Community Television, which is my committee. And I do have an update. Tyler says that they've added cameras and graphics to their football productions. And then for homecoming, they were able to include the parade in the live stream as well as close-ups of the homecoming court. And then he mentions at the most recent game, they added a wireless camera on the field for close-ups. I thought I saw you out there, Tyler. And he also says our middle school club just started this week, and they have a good-sized group, and they've started working on their film. So that is the NCT update. 9.05, this is the OSBA Legislative Liaison, so I will turn it back over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you again, Madam President. We had updates on the absenteeism reports from the state of Ohio. They are still working on a bill that is going to focus on absenteeism and truancy issues. Because they went into lame duck, they don't think that that's going to get worked on at the moment, but they did report the numbers dropped from 26.8% in the 22 school year to 25.6% in the last school year. So as it still remains a challenge, we are making progress on it, and it is still a focus for the House. Lame duck is beginning in 20 days. They are currently focused on Senate Bill 29 on tech devices. They have noticed a lot of problems from districts giving feedback on this bill. They're working on fixes, and they're hoping that they can continue that work during lame duck. They will be working closely with superintendents to implement those changes based on the feedback of our tech teams. So I hope that we're communicating well with them to get that feedback that we need. They're also working on the House Bill 45, which is the LifeWise bill. They're potentially looking at some changes on that as well. So again, this isn't something that is going to come forward yet, but potentially looking at for next year. The budget season is about to begin. They have 6-month process of grueling discussions ahead. The state is claiming that there will be revenue drops, plus inflation will mean funding will be affected, like we're surprised, but they're not sure exactly how. Legislators have been focused more on property valuation and taxes in the coming budgets. So we are encouraging schools to invite local legislators into the buildings to show them what our needs are. We have to put a face to that fight. So they want us to invite our legislators and local representatives into our buildings to show them exactly what we need and why they should fight for it. The other thing that we have coming up is our Capitol Conference. The delegates are going to be looking at a few of these types of issues this November, and they're going to give us a list of exactly what's going to be discussed at our upcoming virtual meeting on October 30th, so that we know what's going to be coming during the delegates meeting. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ballard. 9.06, this is Avenues for Success, and I will turn it over to Ms. Rarica.
Thank you, Madam President. Our after-school clubs just started this week. My kid came home with a floral arrangement today, and I've learned something really interesting that Avenues for Success now has driver's ed. I actually, someone asked on Facebook if we had driver's ed, and I said no, and I was wrong. We do, apparently. It's not literally, I hope I explain it correctly, but you do the after-school program, which is called Careers and something. And when you do that program, then you get a credit for a driver's school, and then you take that credit and go take your driver's ed at the driver's school. And I enrolled my kid, so I'm pretty happy about this. And that's all for Avenues for Success.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Rarica. Item 10 on the agenda, this is our future meeting notifications. So our committee meeting is scheduled for November the 12th at 6 p.m. at the board office. And then our regular board meeting will be November 21st at 6 p.m. here in the high school mini auditorium. Do I have a motion to approve 10.01?
All motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I do have one piece of discussion. That's also the last day of the OSB Capital Conference that we'll be
Yep.
attending. And they put out an announcement that that is the day we are to wear our school's spirit wear. So wear a shirt or polo, something that represents our school when we're there on Tuesday for the
Okay.
closing ceremonies.
All
So
right,
there you go. We'll already be dressed for our meeting.
I was going to say, we probably can handle that.
That's right.
Anything else? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, item 11 on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
All motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The time is 6:50 and we are adjourned. Thank you.